Coming up on this edition of the Mashup, it was an upsetting weekend.
I'm sad to see it end today.
Number 1 seed Ketchum goes down to the hands of North Rockland. Number 1 seed Millbrook football falls to O'Neill. Number 1 seed Spackenkill volleyball falls to Millbrook. And other Dutchess County teams are sent packing. Meanwhile, the Arlington boys stay on course to the New York State Championship, but it took overtime, and more overtime to get it done. The Spackenkill girls soccer team, SPAC attack, turned into a Speranza attack. And Rhinebeck wins the rubber match with the Spackenkill boys for the Section 9 soccer title. We've got the hits, the trips, and the phenomenal chips. So many great stories and highlights that they are accessing our site from everywhere. Why? Because
it's awesome! Oh my gosh, it's great!
The Mashup is next. Hi everyone and welcome to the Mashup. I'm Charlie Carnaccio. It was a fantastic week in local sports as the regular season transforms into the postseason. Soccer, football, field hockey, volleyball all taking center stage, but the biggest game we covered this past week was the Section 1 Class AA boys soccer semifinal between Arlington and John Jay. Third meeting between these two teams, and I gotta say, I had not seen John Jay play as good as they did on this night all season long. It was a thriller.
Let's go. Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys.
And I guess you could say we should have all been ready for this. A physical game with a sense of urgency that all Jay Arlington matches have, whether it's the first game of the season or the potential last game of a high school career. We had it all, but what we didn't have was a score. Oh, there were some close calls to make it exciting. Dave Vertis has a good look here, but the ball hits the corner post. Does it get any closer than that? Yes, it does. Eric Eastman punches it out to Brian Asham. And this one shoots just outside the post. Chris Shea sends it in. Will Ackerman heads it towards the net, and look at Sean Flynn. What a save. No score in regulation, and we go to overtime. Connor Melanofi inlets it to Dave Vertis, who crosses it to Shea in the slot. Shot on goal, and Flynn is there with the deflection. The ball hits the crossbar, and Flynn gathers it before it crosses the line. Wow! Now that's as close as it gets. Or maybe this is. Kevin O'Connor sends it into Stephen Turi, who lifts it towards the goal, and Joe DeRosa uses his entire 6'5" frame to deflect this one, and then gathers it with a John Jay player just 2 feet away. So the crowd gets to see another 15-minute overtime, and John Jay comes right out of the gate firing. Kevin Turi shoots it towards the net, and DeRosa is there. And off the corner kick, it helps to be the tallest kid in class. This game remained tied through 80 minutes of regulation play, 2 15-minute overtimes, and that means it comes down to penalty kicks. Each team gets 5 attempts, the goalkeepers going head-to-head. DeRosa and Flynn both had great games, and now it's one-on-one. Arlington goes first. Chris Shea sizes up the situation and goes left. It's 1-0 Admirals. Nate Mansfield is up first for the Patriots. Mansfield goes just a little bit too wide. Arlington holds a 1-0 lead. Flynn steps back in and faces Vinny Colantuono. Vinny C also goes left, and that makes it 2-0 Arlington. John Jay tries to answer with Nick Engyao. He goes straight up on DeRosa, and DeRosa blocks it. Pat Mogan follows up for Arlington. This goal makes it 3-0 Arlington, and Jay needs to make something happen quick. Up steps Brian Vigorita. And Vigorita gets it past DeRosa. That makes it 3-1 Arlington. And now it's down to Flynn and Connor Melanofi. If Melanofi gets it, it's all over. He tries to go upstairs, but CJ hits the crossbar, and John Jay still has a shot. Ryan Metz shoots it to the top corner, but the ball sails high, and that means Jay has no chance to take the lead, so Arlington wins it on penalty kicks 3-1, and the Admirals are going to the Section 1 Class AA Championships on Saturday. Let the celebration begin. So Arlington moves into the sectional finals facing Horace Greeley. Surprise! Most everyone thought it would be number 2 seeded Mamaroneck, but this number 14 seed beat Mamaroneck for the right to play. And watch out, because as you know, sometimes the team that is hottest has the best chance in the postseason, and Greeley was red hot. Winners of 10 in a row. Brian Ashong feeds David Vertus, and Vertus hits his favorite spot, the corner joint of the pipe and crossbar. He hit the same spot against Jay. Eastman again tries to slip one in with the left foot, but Rosenthal is there. And then Arlington on the move, right down Main Street. Brian Ashong tries to slip it through the deflection, but Rosenthal reads it perfectly. Greeley had a few chances as well. Matt Newberger at point-blank range, but Joe DeRosa comes up big. It was 0-0 after the first half. Greeley had most of the early opportunities. Drew Goldberg splits the defenders, but Joe DeRosa is there to gather. Off the corner kick, a near header by Paul Gadaletta. And then Arlington still trying to break Jordan Rosenthal. Nick Moses comes on the far side, crosses it through the legs of John Lukovic, and Rosenthal gathers before Vinny Colantuono can get a toe on it. We stayed scoreless through the second, and that meant overtime. Arlington's second consecutive visit to overtime, but they didn't stay long. Ashong from the corner. Rosenthal can't keep his hands on the slippery ball, and look who's waiting at the bottom of the pile. Will Ackerman pushes it through in the 53rd second of overtime, and Arlington repeats as Section 1 champs.
Oh, well, it was a great ball in. The keeper bobbled it a little bit. It came right to my foot, and I finished it.
In field hockey, Kingston likes consistency, and the number 7 is such a favorite number, so why not? Claire Logren gets the feed and shoots it straight through to break the ice. It's 1-0 Tigers. Later in the first, Shannon Conlon takes advantage when a Pine Bush defender loses her footing, crosses it over to Rachel Volpe. Volpe puts the biscuit in the basket. It's 2-0 Kingston. Still in the first half, Jordan Beesmer loads up, and Alana Hubbs is there to steer it in. That makes it 3-0 Kingston. And then, to cap off the first half, Carly Canavan is on the move. She pushes it over to Logren. Kingston led 4-0 at halftime and goes on to win its 7th consecutive field hockey sectional title with a 7-0 win over Pine Bush. Over in Section 9 soccer, the Spack-and-Kill boys and girls had the opportunity to bring the sectional title home for both teams. The boys facing Rhinebeck and the girls going up against O'Neill. Early in the first half, Rhinebeck wastes no time. The long push, and Seth McClenahan one-times it. It's 1-0 Rhinebeck within the first 10 minutes of the game. Spack-and-Kill tried to even it up and had a great chance off the corner kick. Jeremy LeBoy gets a couple of swipes at it. James Hannan comes in, but Eric Rodriguez locks it up. Later in the half, Nick Hoynes takes this one in unassisted. And it's a 2-goal lead at halftime for Rhinebeck. Second half, a foot race. McClenahan wins it for his second goal, and that's the way this one would end, with Rhinebeck winning the Section 9 Class B Sectional Championship with a 3-0 win over Spack-and-Kill. Facing O'Neill for the Section 9 Class B Championship, Spack-and-Kill jumps out early. Midway through the first half, Katie Lillis makes a quick move on a loose ball, a perfect cross to the slot, and just like you see in the soccer textbooks, a pretty goal by Caitlin Speranza. Spack-and-Kill is on the big board at Middletown's Fowler Field. Then, with 8 minutes left in the half, Eileen Fiore saves this one from an out of bounds and finds Ashleen Speranza, who just happens to have her sand wedge out. She chips it in. It's 2-0 Spartans at halftime. Spack-and-Kill's defense was so good that Spartan goalie Megan Pantano had nothing to do until about 55 minutes into this contest. But when she was called upon, she delivered. And check out the moves by Speranza. Like a cat playing with a mouse, Speranza shows she's a threat from anywhere. Ashleen scores another goal, and that makes it Speranza's 3, O'Neill nothing. And that's the way this one would end, with the Spackenkill girls soccer team winning its 3rd consecutive sectional title and moving on to the regionals. In football, what happened? Ketchum, John Jay, Lords, Highland, Red Hook, FDR, Millbrook all saw their seasons come to an end. The Ketchum Indians met their match against a very well-prepared North Rockland team.
It was a beautiful afternoon for some playoff football. The Ketchum fans out and supporting this one. The Ketchum players were all fired up and ready to go, but it was North Rockland coming out and firing on all cylinders in the early stages of this game. As Nicholas Imperato passes it to Derek Brooks. Brooks makes his way into the end zone. It puts North Rockland up 6-0 within 90 seconds of this game starting. In the second quarter, Ketchum trying to answer back, and Kevin Duke keeps the ball, runs it down the field like we've seen him do so many times this season, and he would fumble the ball into the hand of his teammate Brendan Hayes, and Hayes would take it the rest of the way himself, and that would put Ketchum on the board. It's 12-7. Still in the second quarter, North Rockland driving again, and Imperato finds Derek Brooks once again, and Brooks finds his way into the end zone for the second time of the day, and that puts North Rockland up 18-7. And this time North Rockland would find the end zone as Matt Caputo would run down the right side and find himself a touchdown. As North Rockland goes up 32-15, the Ketchum fans showing their support for their team after a wonderful season the Indians have had. But they fall in this one to North Rockland, 32-15, the final.
I think, playing New Rochelle the last 2 weeks and being very competitive with them in both games gave us a lot of confidence, especially our offense, because we scored some touchdowns. And today our offense really stepped it up. Defense set them up, but the offense finished finally.
We just didn't want the season to end.
We're here at Fuller Field in Middletown, where the Highland Huskies take on the Roundout Ganders. The first time these two teams squared off this season, the Ganders shocked the Huskies, beating them 14-13. But it's playoff season and do or die. Have the Huskies found the answers and what it takes to beat the Ganders? Let's look at the highlights. Picking up in the first quarter, Roundout on the drive, where there's a fumble and it's picked up by Sam Cruz of the Huskies. Right before the end of the first quarter, it's Huskies quarterback Brendan Mack with a 1-yard rushing touchdown, giving Highland a 7-0 lead. But Roundout's quarterback Keith Malik would answer with a 1-yard rushing touchdown of his own, tying the game at 7 in the second quarter. Highland football going for it on 3rd and 10. The pass is picked off by Roundout's Thomas Weirden. Ganders take over. And then just a few plays later, Roundout quarterback Keith Malik with his second rushing touchdown of the game, this one from 25 yards out, giving the Ganders a 13-7 lead. And right before the half, Roundout running a 2-minute drill to perfection when Brett Steers holds in a 4-yard touchdown pass from Malik, giving Roundout a 19-7 lead at the half.
Thanks, Brian. But you can't count out Highland, and Ryan Mergette receives this 13-yard TD pass from Brandon Mack to make it 27-14. In the fourth quarter, a safety and another Husky touchdown made it 27-22. And with 1:20 left in the game, Highland's Michael Weed hauls in this pass for an 18-yard touchdown. Highland takes a 30-27 lead with 1:20 to go. But Keith Malik and the Ganders know how to run the clock. They employ a 2-minute drill to get themselves downfield in scoring position. And 58 seconds later, Brett Steers grabs this one for a 34-30 lead with just 20 seconds remaining. That's the way it ends. For the second time this season, Rondout takes one away from Highland in the final seconds of the game. Marlboro and Red Hook. The winner goes to the Class B sectional finals. Marlboro at 7-0, the clear favorite. After giving up a Red Hook touchdown, Marlboro went on a tear. Marcellus Fairclough takes this one 54 yards, and that makes it 12-8 in the first. In the second, Ryan Carey hands off to Reno Tamburi. He goes around the outside, and it's 3 unanswered scores for Marlboro. Later in the quarter, Ryan Grievins punches one in from the 2, and it looks like Marlboro's about to punch their ticket to the sectional finals. The Iron Dukes led 25-11 at the half. Nick Carlson scores for Red Hook, but the Iron Dukes are going back to the sectional title game for the 4th year in a row with a 41-18 win over Red Hook.
In the last few minutes of the fourth quarter, we got a little sloppy. I think we let up a little bit, but overall it was a pretty good performance. Hopefully we get some kids back, some healthy back, like Marsalis banged up a little bit, but overall it's a pretty good performance for us.
Lords fell to Pleasantville in the Section 1 Class B championship 21-8. It is Pleasantville's first sectional title since 1991. FDR ran out of time against Wallkill. What a wild one. 55-47 was the final. Millbrook upset by O'Neill 22-16 in the Class C semifinals. It was Millbrook's first loss of the season. John Jay was outplayed by White Plains 33-6. And in volleyball, what a turn of events in the Class C championship between Spackenkill and Millbrook. Spackenkill came in with a 20-2 record, Millbrook at 16-4, but Millbrook had a secret weapon. Number 2, Meredith Dignan, back from an injury and ready to make a huge contribution. And right from the opening serve, you could see there was something different about Spackenkill. Lindsay Ackert, at outside hitter, sends a typical power return. Dignan digs, then returns, and the ball falls on the Bermuda Triangle. That was a foreshadowing of things to come. Dignan on the serve, and once again Spackenkill appears to have a lack of communication as the ball falls between Ackert and Kelly Devaney. Here's match point. And Millbrook makes the entire gym stand up and take notice. And Coach Sean Stolliker's plan was working to perfection. The net play continued to hold strong for Millbrook, and it looked as though someone substituted the normal Spackenkill team with their evil twins. Millbrook took game 2 25-14, and this one was like taking candy from a baby. Audrey Almet slams home the exclamation point, and the Millbrook Blazers are the 2013 Class C Section 9 volleyball champs with a 3-set win over Spackenkill. So that was the week that was, and here we go for the week that will be. The regionals for soccer and volleyball heat up this week. Haldane, John Jay, Marlboro, Millbrook are still alive in volleyball. In soccer, Arlington boys, Haldane, Rhinebeck, and the Spackenkill girls will play in the first round of the regionals. In field hockey, Kingston, Rondout, and Pine Plains all play in the regionals this week at the Hudson Valley Sports Dome. In football, the Section 9 championships are slated for this weekend. Newburgh and Monroe Woodbury will go toe-to-toe one more time. That's always interesting. And Marlboro will face the surprise team of Section 9, Rondout Valley. Wallkill will put it on the line against the Dragons of Cornwall. And up at the college level, mark your calendars. This Friday night, Kentucky comes in to play the Marist women's basketball team in their season opener. And then on Sunday, come out and welcome new Marist head coach Jeff Bauer to the McCann Arena. He was the assistant coach to Dave McGarity back in the 80s and 90s before heading out to the bright lights of the pros. He's back with the men's team. They'll take on Elon Sunday at 5. So that will do it for this edition of The Mashup. Our site keeps reaching new heights, and thanks to you, it seems like each week is a new milestone. Over 160 views since we launched in late August, and now tells us that everyone is enjoying the professional writing, the real video highlights, the portability of the content, and the fact that you don't have to wait a day or two to actually read the articles or see the highlights. Yeah, maybe I'm talking a little trash here, but I speak the truth, and the truth will set you free. Free. Yes, that's what you'll find on our site. Plenty of content, breaking news, recognition of our local athletes. What you won't find are subscription fees or an added charge to your cable bill. What a concept. I'm Charlie Carnaccio. We'll see you on the sidelines and next time right here on The Mashup.